One of the questions that often comes up in this conversation is what rising in the feminine actually looks like in everyday life. And it's easy to talk about big ideas like patriarchy and matriarchy and global shifts in consciousness, but real change usually happens in smaller scales, smaller spaces. It happens in how we lead, how we raise our children, how we work with others, and how we make decisions within our communities. Rising in the feminine does not mean abandoning structure or ambition or strength. It means bringing different values into the way that we operate. In leadership, for example, it means moving away from models based only on control and authority and moving toward leadership that is rooted in responsibility. A feminine approach to leadership asks, how do the decisions that we make affect the well-being of the whole group? Not just the success of the culture or the organization or the power of the person in charge. It values listening, collaboration alongside decisiveness. In relationships, rising in the feminine means moving away from rigid roles where one person dominates or a small group dominates and the other accommodates. Instead, it encourages partnership, shared responsibility, and emotional honesty. Both people are responsible for the health of the relationship, and both people are allowed to bring emotional awareness into the space. If families shifted this, it can be especially powerful when children grow up seeing cooperation between parents rather than hierarchy. They learn that strength and care can actually coexist together. Boys learn that emotional expression is part of being human, it's not a weakness. And girls learn that their voices and their boundaries matter. The feminine rising also changes how communities approach conflict. Instead of seeing disagreement as something that's competitive and it must be won, a more feminine approach tries to understand what is happening beneath the surface and looks for solutions that strengthen the group rather than divide us. So it's not, I'm going to one up you and do better than you. That's not how it works. And this doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations or avoiding conflict. It means having them in ways that aim for understanding and repair rather than domination. On a much broader level, the rising feminine also changes how societies think about responsibility. Feminine values tend to consider long-term consequences. They ask how decisions made today will affect future generations, the environment, and the very stability of the community that we are all living in. When those questions become part of leadership, systems begin to stabilize because they are no longer focused only on short-term gain. And none of this requires women to be the only ones embodying this quality. In fact, the shift will only work if men participate in it as well. Like this is a global community thing, all right? The rising feminine really is about bringing these stabilizing values back into our shared culture so that leadership, relationships, and communities operate with far better balance and care and well-being for everyone that's involved. And this is what the feminine rising looks like for all of us in everyday simple terms. It starts with our one-on-one relationships, our relationships within our communities and our families. And so we take the structure out and we get bigger, and the change becomes bigger and more impactful.